Good morning, Staples. I'm Miley Fitzpatrick. I know a couple of weeks ago I said it was my last time hosting. Well, I'm back and this is really my last time to host. Both today's show and tomorrow's show will be reviews. Today's show is a review of this school year. Tomorrow, Zito and Honeycutt will reflect back on their favorite moments of Good Morning Staples in their time here. So let's get started. The first day of this school year seems like only yesterday. You can probably picture in your mind the car horns blaring, the whistles in the hallway, and the pink senior girls' shirts. One big difference about this school year was that we were greeted by our new principal, Dr. Karagis. Let's get his thoughts on the year.
But to come in as a principal, what you need to do is to find a common respect among students and staff, and that was very, very easy. I was very very much welcomed when I came here, and that made it easy for me. There's a lot to learn when you come in as an administrator to any building, and just when you seem to learn everything, it's time to leave. There's always difficulties that come up in every school year. No one's exempt. However, it's how you handle those difficulties and how the staff and how the students and our entire community handled a couple of very trying circumstances, but was able to persevere and move forward and be resilient. Our key word this year, resilient. And we were able to do that. And I'm proud of that. Very proud. And one of the things that I mean by saying, let's take care of one another. Let's be kind. Let's be personable. Let's be helpful. Let's look in any way we can to make life not only good for ourselves, but good for the people around us. And I see that as a very common element and component of Staples High School. What I'd like to do is I want to thank the student body. I want to thank all the teachers, secretaries, custodians, cafeteria workers, my fellow administrators for welcoming me, for working with me, and helping me make this year a successful one. I wish everyone the best of luck and success in the future. And thank you for allowing me to work at Staples High School this year as your interim principal. I'm very proud of it, and I've been honored by it.
Thanks, Dr. Karagis, and best of luck with those future plans. Fall is always an exciting time at Staples. Homecoming came early this year as we drove our cars from Campo Beach to the football field. We were excited to see our brand new video scoreboard. For the last 4 years, fall for Good Morning Staples has included the Klein Challenge. For one last time, here are Zito and Klein together.
Good morning, Staples! Klein and Zito here for a special spring edition of the Klein Challenge. These guys called me here today. I'm not exactly sure why. I see my collection of trophies here from 2012, 2013, and 2014. That was my three-peat, if we do remember. However, I also won in 2015. That would be the four-peat. Zeets, how you doing, buddy?
I was doing better.
You were doing better. This is your home stretch. You're headed off to Austin very soon.
And this is the year in review.
The year in review, okay.
Little different. Listen, there's people who never want to be on Good Morning Staples.
Okay.
And
Can I join that club?
No, you're not part of that club. And we respect those people and understand. And there's some people that do, and we love them. You even take it to another level where you always bring things to the table.
Well, thank you.
Well, thank you. We really appreciate it. And even thanks more than that on another level, too. I'm moving to Texas, as you said, and there are things that people wonder what I'll miss. And I gotta say, next year, when I look at the NFL schedule, I'll think of the Klein Challenge and think of kids coming up to me and saying, "Can I be on the Klein Challenge?"
That's awesome.
And both Honeycutt and I just, we've had parades,
Yes, we have.
auditorium, and things of that sort. But from the bottom of our hearts, we really want to thank you for all of the excitement.
Hey!
Quads.
Number 4.
We do want to thank you.
That is awesome.
And
I'm going to line them all up right here. Terrific.
there's one more thing to everybody out there, and I mean this just as sincerely. There are things at Staples that I never had in my high school, and one of them is your personal finance class. So
Cool.
let me give a plug, but a very real plug from my heart. If I had taken your personal finance, if I had had the opportunity to it, I probably would not have had, well, I would have had a more understanding of money than I did. It took me years to do that. So for you out there, one of the opportunities you definitely have, which is an important class, I believe, is your personal finance class. So take that over the course of the time you're there.
And I will say Zito is not the only faculty member who has told me that over the years. I greatly appreciate the plug, but most importantly, once again, both Zito and Honeycutt, okay, behind the camera here, they have been a huge part of the fabric of Staples High School for many, many years, and you will truly be missed.
Thank you, sir.
Much appreciated, buddy.
Thanks for
All
everything.
That is it. We hope to see you back in 2016. Enjoy the summer. See ya.
Here's a few other things to jog your memory of this last fall. All the security fears around Solomon Rushdie's talk, the wonderful performance of Fiddler on the Roof, the fun of Dodge a Cop, Maddie Johnson's Veterans Day speech, and a record number of seniors signing letters of intent. Seniors weren't the only people who were thinking about their future. Ultimately, both of the class of 2016's administrators decided to leave Staples with their class. We were blessed to go through our 4 years at Staples with Miss Morgan in charge. It was obvious to all of us how much she cared for everyone and would do everything to help us be successful at Staples and beyond. We talked to Miss Morgan about this year and years past.
What do I think about when I think about this particular senior class, the class of 2016? I actually think about really great things. This class has been so easy to deal with. They're wonderfully bright, they're talented, they're compassionate and empathetic. I can't say anything bad about this class. They really, truly have made my last 4 years just wonderful. What stands out about this class? What do you think about? And I have to tell you, it's been everything. It's the games that I've gone to and see how they behave. It's seeing them in the hallways. Even when I give them a monitored study or a detention or whatever, they thank me. So they're an incredible group of kids, and I really look forward to seeing what's going to happen in the future with these guys. What's going to happen in the future with me? That's another really good question, because I haven't thought about it. I made my decision fairly recent, and it's really because I couldn't see myself starting off with another class and maybe not being able to finish it. And this class is so great that I thought, why wouldn't I want to end my career on a really high note and go out with them? Well, the kids that stand out in my mind are the kids that ended up in my office a lot because they had a lot of problems. And one kid in particular, who's unfortunately no longer with us, he lost his life in the Marines, but he was the biggest nudge ever. And he was in my office all the time, and he refused to talk to me until one day we played the staring game. And we stared each other down, and he started to laugh, and I started to laugh. And from that moment on, we formed this bond that was fantastic. And I think that because of that bond and that connection, he was able to get through the rest of high school in a positive way. So that is a highlight for me. I'm saying goodbye to Staples. A lot of my friends, you included, Mr. Zito, are leaving as well. And so I'm leaving, I believe, the school in great young hands now, and it's their turn to take over. But it's been an honor and a privilege to not only have served the Westport community, but an honor and a privilege to have served this class of 2016.
Miss Morgan's administrative assistant is Miss Addix. One senior girl, when asked about her, said this: Alice Addix holds this building together with her clipboard and sheer determination. She is almost everywhere. The one place she isn't is talking to a camera. Even though she didn't want to go on camera, we still felt it was important to recognize her today. Take over, Zito.
When I was talking with Mr. Klein just a minute ago, I mentioned that there were some people that didn't feel comfortable being filmed and that we respected their wishes. And when I was thinking about who should be interviewed on this show, who should be featured, I did think about talking with Miss Addix. And I went up to her and I was pretty persistent, and probably if I tried a little harder, I think I could have gotten her to ultimately agree to be interviewed. But you may not know this, but I'm pretty shy myself, so I understood where she was at and I just let it rest. There's a reason I put this bulletin board behind me. It's near the cafeteria and you pass it every day and you probably don't even look at it. But next time, take a bit of a more careful look. Look at how much it just oozes pride. Not only in how it celebrates staples, both past and present, but how well everything's presented, down to the perfect highlighting, just cut out perfectly. For years, Miss Addix has carefully maintained and updated this board, and I'd be willing to bet nobody ever said anything to her about it, and certainly never thanked her. I've had the luxury, the pleasure of doing a lot of interviews, and I've learned that when I prepare and plan for an interview, there's usually always one question I want to ask the person more than any other. And had Miss Addix agreed to an interview, that one question was going to be, Miss Addix, what do you get out of maintaining the bulletin board? What's in it for you? And that board is probably only one of hundreds and maybe even thousands of things that Miss Addix brings to Staples. A few years ago, when this senior class was freshmen, I remember talking to her, and she told me at that time that she thought this class was really something special, and she had hoped to go out with them. And now she's going to. I've also seen her all this year in delivering notes and reminders and other things to the students in this year's seniors class. And often she shakes her head and says, "They're not going to have me at college next year. I don't know what they're going to do." Well, you guys are also not going to have her at Staples, and I don't know what you're going to do. But I do know this. She's left a piece of her heart and a tremendous amount of spirit throughout every single part of this school. Right now, Miss Addix is probably thinking that it would have been a lot easier to have just talked to me to begin with. And she's probably thinking of calling me that secret word that we share together. But all I have to say is thank you, Miss Addix, and enjoy your retirement. You have certainly earned it.
December is a big month for music. The Orphenians gave performances all over town. This December was extra special for our music department. This year was the 75th Candlelight Concert, an incredible milestone commemorated with a movie and guest announcers. A little later in the year, the Chamber Orchestra had the opportunity to play at Symphony Hall in Boston. Speaking of traveling, our robotics teams did great regionally and at the Worlds. Through it all, there were people throughout Staples to support us, like for instance, Guidance, giving us cookie treats during midterms. One other constant was the competitive play each season by our student athletes. Cooper Boardman and Jacob Bond put together the highlights.
Bond is true. There you are. You're running for your life. You're a shooting star. All the years, no one knows just how hard you worked, but now it shows. One shining moment, it's all on the line. One shining moment, they're frozen in time. The the night. All that moment's gone, and when it's done, win or lose, you always did your best. 'Cause inside you knew.
It's past, it's broken up, that will do it! The Staples record will come up on top in the biggest volleyball game ever!
Shining moment you were alive. Feel the beat of your heart, feel the wind in your face. It's more than a contest, it's more than a did your best, 'cause inside you knew that one shining moment you reach for the sky. One shining moment you knew. One shining moment you were willing to try. One shining moment you
Spring hits, and we start to think about the end of the year. Staples Players seniors got to take one last bow at the closing of Drowsy Chaperone. The class of 2016's valedictorian and salutatorians were announced, and prom season began. The seniors have baccalaureate and graduation to look forward to, and then the excitement of college. For you underclassmen, there will be some changes next year. In January, Dr. Palmer was chosen to replace Dr. Landon as the new superintendent of schools. Soon after, James D'Amico was named the new principal of Staples. We sat down with Mr. D'Amico to find out about his vision for Staples.
When did I realize I wanted to be a principal? I don't think it's a matter of wanting to be a principal, but I know when I wanted to be the principal of Staples High School, which was, really, last year when John retired, when Mr. Dodig retired. The thought never left my mind, even through all of the searches and the other candidates that came through, and watching Dr. Carragus take over this year. It was something that I was glad I had a second chance to make up for the mistake of not applying the first time. I've said this before, and I hope I'll say it a lot more times over the next few years. It's got to be the best job in public education. It's a high school where any kid here can do anything. Where as a teacher, if I was a teacher here, it's a place you can grow. You can try new things. You're encouraged to experiment. You're encouraged, to follow your passions as a student, as a teacher, and who wouldn't want to be, the leader of that? I know just about every adult in the building, but most of the students that I worked with when I was the JSA advisor are graduating this year, for the most part. So I would say to students that I don't know, all you really need to know about me is I'm an open book. If you ever have a question, if you ever have a comment or a suggestion, I love to listen, I love to learn, and I try to bring that to everything I do, whether it's at school or at home. That's really who I am. You can go to ratemyteacher.com to find out what I was really like as a teacher, right, to get the scoop. I think what I really tried to do as a teacher was to create a classroom where I wasn't in charge of it all the time. It was really important to me that students got to not just answer the questions, but ask the questions, and whenever possible, chart their own way. Get them active, get them really digging into the content, not just knowing things when they left. I think that was really what I tried to do no matter what course I was teaching. We have such an incredible program and reputation, for our high level of academics and athletics and the arts and all of that, and how we do everything. John Dodig used to say, we do everything at a varsity level. I think the next chapter for us is to pay more attention to developing that sense of community. Not that we don't have one, but we know that we have a lot of students and adults in the building who are feeling stress as education has become more competitive. People are talking a lot about that. And I think we need to act on that. I think we need to be creative about being just as good at mental health and wellness, and helping each other through difficult situations as we are at creating all of those opportunities that we have in our program. I would love to wish everyone a relaxing summer, a summer where everyone gets a chance to recharge, do some things that you like doing, not things you have to do, and really get ready for an exciting school year next year at Staples.
Thanks, Mr. D'Amico. It's obvious that Staples is in good hands, and thank you, Staples, for an unforgettable time. You've given me the skills and knowledge that has gotten me accepted at Syracuse and will help to make me successful there and beyond. I have lots of great memories, and some of them revolve around Good Morning Staples. There will likely be changes with the morning show next year, with both Mr. Zito and Mr. Honeycutt retiring. On tomorrow's show, they'll look back on some of their favorite things that aired of the morning show over the years. Some of them you will not believe. You don't want to miss it. Good morning, Staples.